Okay, so here we are in Minecraft. This is the Windows version. This is 4K, so very, very high resolution, and it's running great. So 90 FPS, 60 low, 49 0.1% low. Might dip down a little bit. Can I swim? Maybe not. But yeah, it looks like it's running really well. So 4K, I mean, if you have a 4K screen. Okay, so this is Minecraft, the Java version. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between them. I feel like Java is the one I used to play way back when it came out, like more than a decade ago, whenever that was. Yeah, it would be more than a decade, but I mean, we're getting a lot of frames, obviously, 400 and whatever. So this obviously runs much faster than the Windows one. I don't know, maybe it renders different. I don't actually know. I'm at 4K and it looks super crisp. Okay, so here we are in Minecraft again. I loaded up this one called Medieval, but it's an RTX. So we're in Minecraft, I guess Raytracing I'd call it. We're at 1080p to start. I mean, 4K is just not going to work well. Fancy things turned on. So this is probably going to be about as demanding as it gets. We're at 45 FPS. And this is a really demanding area too. Let's go 16. Yeah, so I mean, the render distance is turned way up now to 16. Look at how much, you can really notice it now. Look at how nice the world looks. All right, so it's absolutely maxed now, and it's really quite nice. So 40 to 45 FPS or so. And it's definitely working. I mean, you can see the reflections working. So there you go. Quite nice. 4K on what low-end settings to start. And let's go a little bit faster. And looks like we're at about 70 FPS here in the mountainy area. Let's look at some of the city down there. So I have the Xbox overlay because for some reason, I don't know, the Afterburner is not working, but I do want to have some of the other settings so you can see, you know. So it looks like 4K on like basically low settings is, you know, fine. The playability looks great. Okay. So now we're on medium presets with ray tracing off still. The FPS dropped a little bit, but not much. Then again, this is 4K. So extremely playable, obviously. Whatever. Reflections, we'll turn that on. We'll just see if it tanks the FPS here. No, maybe a little bit. It went down. Okay, so 4K Ultra, now we're dipping down. It's still very playable. This game is quite playable at even 30 FPS, to be honest. It's a flight sim. So, you know, these areas here, we're still above 30. This is basically the game maxed out. Yeah, 30. So 1440p on max. Now we're up to 60. So 4K on max, it was like 40-ish, 45, sometimes 38. 1440p max, it's jumping up quite a bit. Yeah, so 1440p on low end, we're up to like 80 or so FPS. The buildings look kind of crap, to be honest. The whole textures don't look good. I wouldn't play like this. I would play at either 1440p or 4K, depending on your screen resolution, and turn the settings way up, because, I mean, we're getting 20 more frames per second, but this is low end versus high end. High end looked substantially better. Okay, so here we are in Battlefield 2042, and we're at 4K max settings, no dynamic resolution or, you know, any scaling or anything. So looks like it's running fine. at 4K. Okay, so with 4K max settings, if you throw on dynamic resolution scaling, it runs perfectly fine. 60 frames per second here. So 4K native with ultra settings was not running that great. It was running okay. I mean, you could play it, but it wasn't running that great. But with dynamic resolution scaling, it really does help quite a bit here. So you can basically just throw on 4K dynamic resolution scaling and you're good to go. Okay, so this is 4K low, no dynamic resolution scaling. So if you want to be at 4K and you want to be above 60 without dynamic resolution scaling, just put it on low and it looks like it's fine. Okay, so this is 1440p with everything absolutely maxed. No dynamic resolution scaling or anything like that. And it seems to be running pretty well actually, 1440p. You can, if you don't need ultra high frame rates, looks like you can max it and you'll get above 60 anyways. Oh, I'm gonna die. Okay, so here we are in Baldurs Gate 3. It's a pre-release. It doesn't actually come out until the summer, so it's like 6 months away. So there might be some tweaks here and there. So this is the game at 4K max, just absolutely maxed. And this is how I've been playing the game. I mean, it's 45 FPS. In a game like this, you absolutely don't need 60 FPS. It doesn't make any difference. It's a turn-based strategy game. You're not going to notice any difference. Let's turn on a little FSR just to see what it does. I mean, if you really want 60, you could probably get it. So with just a little bit of FSR, ultra quality added, now we're up to 60. So I guess if you were very obsessed with 60 FPS, you could throw on FSR. FSR 1.0 is fine. Ultra quality especially, you don't really notice it at 4K, but it would, it's better if you have 2.0. It's a little bit less, I don't know, fuzzy. Yeah, so stupid. This game is fun, but it's basically a Divinity game with a Baldur's Gate skin on it. It doesn't really play like a Baldur's Gate game. If you've played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 or any of those type of games, it doesn't feel in any way like those games. So at 1440p, little FSR, and you're up quite a bit. I wouldn't play, like I said, I wouldn't play with FSR. It's not needed, but it's an option. Yeah, so there we go. I mean, 4K gamers, you can just max it and play at 45 FPS, 50 FPS, or I guess you can throw on FSR if you want. I don't play like that, but you certainly can. 1440p gamers, just max it again. So, I mean, there's really no